So we explained why Aseres Adibris is Dvarim Pshutim, and we explained why Divrei Torah has to be Badibur. And now the Rebbe moves on to the third thing, which is the Indian, I guess they're called Chidushei Torah. Yeah? That's the issue, Chidushei Torah. When this idea of Anoichi, that the whole Chiddush of Torah is not only that it's coming from the highest levels, but that it's going to the lowest level. We understand the Pasuk. Vayedaber Elokim is kol advarim ha'ela, the extra word kol. That the Rebbe brought the Medrash. The word kol is extra, and he explained, as the kol is an illusion. Shekol ha'neviim kublu neviyasam misini, every navi. Every nevuah comes from Sinai. In yesterday's sheet, I touched on this a little bit. That Moshe Rabbeinu is called Avi Kol HaNeviim, because nevuah is a level of chokhmah. It's a higher madrega chokhmah. Taluma is chokhmah, and it follows the same basic channels. Now then, it's a higher madrega, and it also comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. In addition to all nevuah coming from Har Sinai, all divrei chokhmah kol echad echad kibbul shalei misinai kanal me'amedesh. Every yid gets his Torah from Sinai. Every chokhmah. All divrei Torah that were recited by any chacham from the beginning of the time till the end of time, it comes from Sinai. But now comes the third. Anything that a diligent, that a loyal, that a dedicated, that a sincere student will create, was will give it to Moshe Rabbeinu at Sinai. So this becomes the third insight into the Anechi, that Chidushei Torah of any Talmud Vosek at any time and any place is connected to Sinai. The reason is the fish of a Matan Torah since whereas Matan Torah brought down from the level of Anechi. Shalamayim did the Vagbal, which is above all measure or limitation. It brings on a koyach, which is above the limitations of time or space and time. And therefore, a chiddush and Torah, any time, any place, is included in the Anechi. So the Rebbe is speaking here be'ikeh to the third vart, right? He brought the Medrash about kol advarim ha'ela. And by the way, in the beginning of the Maimed, the Lashon was afilu mashe talmud sheil lerav omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'Moshe be'is hashah. Here the Rebbe uses a different Lashon. Kol mashe talmud v'asek osed l'chadesh akal nit l'Moshe misin. I'd love to see the different Lashonos inside, but it's not really our business. In footnote 19, it's a Shmeis Rabbah. And in footnote 55, it's a Gemara Megillah and a Yerushalmi. It's two different Makedas. What's the word? All Chidushei Torah come from Anoichi. A Yid is Machadash and Torah comes from Anoichi. Now, what does it mean that all Chidushei Torah come from Anoichi? I guess you could say the Pshat, all Chidushei comes from Anoichi, that if the Torah did not come from Madrega of Anoichi, there wouldn't be as many Chidushei Torah. The idea that a person can be Mechadash and Torah, it's all based on the fact that Torah has the koyach of Anoichi, and therefore there's room for so much Chiddush. Now, of course, you know the Sikha of the Rebbe, which is Kenket Teshuvos. The Rebbe said it in Tafshin Nun Aleph. Torah Chadash Amiti Teitet, it's a moidendike Sikha, it's a gewaldike Sikha. And that Sikha speaks about Teres Shel Mashiach, which our Maimon is going to talk about soon. And it speaks about the concept of a Chiddush. A Chiddush. I mentioned to you before that I was in 770, the Rosh Hashiva was Harav Yisrael Yitzchak Pekarsky Alav Shalom. Zechein Levrach was that Pele Sharid, Agon Amiti. He pushed knew Shas by heart. He used to quote Gemaras and Tastes. Very, very big Baki. And Erov. And he was a Chassid also, he had a connection to the Rebbe. He was the Rosh Hashiva in 770 for 40 years. Harav Pekarsky. So when he would give a shiur, I always went to his shiurim. When I was in 770, he was teaching Kedushin. I was not learning Kedushin, I was learning Yet a Day. I spent a lot of that year in Russia, but I never missed his shiur because, first of all, I had learned Kedushin before, but his shiurim was such that you could follow the shiur even if you're not learning the Gemara. And his expression was, Ashtike lenayis. That was his Eishbech. When you want to say Avort, Ashtike lenayis, a Chiddush. He would be Matzia Gemara, he would ask Kashas, and he would say Avort, Ashtike lenayis. Chiddush. Anayis. In any case, in the Sikh of Torah Chadash Amiti Teitze, the Rebbe speaks about the definition of Chidushei Torah, and he asks a simple kasha. If it's nitna l'meisha mesin, it's not a chiddush. And if it's a chiddush, it's nitna l'meisha mesin. How could they both be true? And the Rebbe's answer is because we bring it down min klal al prat. The way the Eibishter gave us the teretz madreg of klal, and we bring it down from klal to prat. And of course, the same idea you could explain a little bit higher. That in addition to the idea that a chiddush in Torah brings it down from a klal to a prat, that brings down from a lukus to seichel. Kidu asipim mit Beis Yosef, which I told recently, how he hardered it on chiddush Torah until he figured it out, and then a Poshet Yid learned it the way he had learned it after many days. And his Maggid explained because the Beis Yosef brought this chiddush into the world. It was his chiddush. Ad seif kol adeides. It's not Teiras Hashem, it's Torah say. So chiddush Torah means Hashem gave a koyach to extract from Torah things that are hidden, and you reveal them. And of course, the whole word of the Sikh of Torah Chadasha, that even Mashiach, there's no new Torah. Right? The famous lashon from the Rabbeim, Matan Torah le ye'ed apam. It's a constant. There's never going to be another Matan Torah. So even the chiddush Torah of Mashiach, which in the lashon Medesh, ki Torah iti teitzei, Torah Chadasha iti teitzei, is also nitan l'meisha mesina. They're deeper chiddushim, as the Rebbe says in that Sikha, because your mamshach from a helam shayni b'mtzias. Whatever the lomdus in the Sikha of Torah Chadasha is, I recently gave a shit to some bachram on it. It's on the website. If you have a section of random sikhs called Sefer HaSikhas, I put it up there. A short little 28 minutes vart on this here sikha. But the vart is Chiddushei Torah is mitzad echad, it's written in the Torah. Mitzad Sheni, you're extracting it from the Torah. So the Rebbe says the anoichig is a koyach. The anoichig is a koyach v'Chiddushei Torah. In other words, if the Torah would not come from such a high level of anoichig, there couldn't be such a great number of chiddushim, or such an ability to bring the Torah down to lower and lower levels and more details, v'chuli v'chuli. So the vart is that kol advarim ha'ela, which includes chiddushei Torah, is also an effect of the yonechi, and the Rebbe says because it's above all limitations, according to the limitations of medidas v'agbolas of mokum and zman. At any time, at any place, a yid is mechadash chiddushei Torah, it's connected to the yonechi of Matan Torah. Umizem moving. It's therefore understood. Now, I'm sort of dividing this into two different points, but I'm not sure it's two different points. In this Perek Daled, which we just started to learn, I'm on page Shin Chafei in the Maimer. He's explaining the third inyan of Anechi, right? The first inyan of Anechi was Dvarim Pshutim. The second inyan of Anechi is Dibur. And the third inyan of Anechi is Chiddushei Torah. But now comes the fourth inyan of Anechi. What's the fourth inyan of Anechi? Then when the Yid is Machadash Achidush in Torah, he's automatically mechadash inyan in Welt. That's how I'm teaching it, at least. Says the Rebbe, if the koyach of a neichi is above all limitation and it radiates over all time and all space, that there's always the promise, always the prospect, always the possibility of a yid being mechadash chidushei Torah based on the sanechi. So there comes another inyan. And what's this other inyan? V'kiven dekut shabrich v'estakel be'eraisa kadosh baruch who looks into the Torah. Ubara alman, by looking into the Torah, the Eibishter creates the world, and of course, the Eibishter looks into the Torah and creates the world. That's a chiddush in Torah, that the Eibishter takes the world from the Torah. Says the Rebbe, moving, we can apply the same principle. When a student who's called Vosik learns Torah, it's like it's written in the Zayah. A human being, a Ben Adam, looks into the Torah, he sustains the world, like it says in the Zayah. The Eibishter created the world with Torah. And again, we're allowing ourselves to say that the Eibishter is looking into the Torah and creating a world as a chiddush in Torah. And if you want, you can get to the Rechi also, although the Matan Torah was in Beis Allah from Tov Mem Ches, and Bria Selamis was 2,448 years before, but we all have the word Eretz Yarav Shakota, Yei Mashishi, that what happened at my Bereshis was dependent upon the Yanechi. Says the Rebbe, same to a Yid. A Yid learns Torah, so first of all, he has the koyach of a Yanechi to be Makayim, the world they wish to create. But then there's more. We say to me, which, as we said, the few lines ago, is an inyan of a Noichi. Chidushei Torah require a koyach from a very high level. Says the Rebbe, I want to tell you that the koyach of a Noichi to Mechadach Chidushei Torah has another dimension. What is that? As I beide Shamayim v'Oretz Chadoshim, you create a new Shamayim and you create a new Oretz. And Rabbi said, of course, there's a pasuk at the end of Yeshaya, which describes what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. Ki kasher hashamayim achadoshe v'horas achadoshe asher ani eisa kein yamid zaracha v'shimchem. It's a lot of Amari Chassidus on this pasuk. So there's an idea in Torah that there's a new shamayim, there's a new aretz. Now, what does this mean? Bagashmis. Hashem is supposed to destroy the shamayim in order to make a new one. Of course, I don't know the answer to that question, and I'm enough of a maimin to say why not. Maybe should kill Yochel, whatever he wants. But l'chol ha'poches, there's a hisavas b'chol rega. Every second is a new shamayim, and every second is a new aretz. But usually, when you have a new shamayim, a new aretz in the lashon yedua, it's chiddush hayishonos. It's the same shamayim again, the same aretz again. L'asad love is going to be shamayim chadoshim and eretz chadosh. Even though it's going to be, it's going to look, I'm going to say, just for argument's sake, it's going to look like the same shamayim. It's going to look like the same aretz, but it's going to be hischachus in the echos and the gilya lakus, or it's going to be on a higher level. So the Rebbe says the same is true that a yid is machad beide shamayim chadash chadash. A yid creates a new heaven and earth, and I just want to say something to you that this is chidushim. What's the definition of a chiddush api Chassidus? So again, I'm trying to save a little bit of time, so I'm not telling you that Sipra the Beis Yosef or such ariches. I just mentioned the Pekitzet. You have in Samach Vav, in the end of the first Maimir, the concept of Oir Chodesh, right? We don't say it in davening, but a lot of Yidden say, Oir Chodesh al tzi in Tor v'niske b'mehera, v'niske something b'mehera l'yeri, right? Before Yitzer HaMeiris, Oir Chodesh al tzi in Tor. So it's a pasuk, and Chassidus brings the pasuk Oir Chodesh. And Chassidus says, Oir Chodesh means a new light. How can you have a new light? You have a sun, the sun produces light. So, Oir Chodesh is a discussion in Chassidus that it means creating light where light didn't exist. Creating light where light didn't exist means taking something which is higher than the Madrega of Gilui, it's above the Madrega of Gilui, and bringing it into Gilui. Where Yid learns Teda and does mitzvahs, if you're familiar with the Samach Vav, you make a yichud, save it from a male, and you mamshach ner chodesh. That's something which was yesterday in the state of Helem or Etzem is brought into the state of Gilui. It's a chiddush. So when it says here that when the Mashiach is going to come, right? It doesn't say here this. There's going to be shamayim chadosh and eretz chadosh, and then it says in our Maimon that when a yid learns Teda, he's beidei shamayim ve'eretz chadoshim. He's mitzayin to the Yeshaya, the end of Yeshaya, and he brings a zeir, the beginning of zeir. A yid is creating a new shamayim and new aretz, which means a chiddush. Chiddush cannot mean chiddush hayishonas, has to be davar chodesh mamish. So again, I don't know pshat in Maimir, but you could use this nekuda of er chodesh otzi in Torah, which means you mamshich something which is from Helem Sheni b'Metzias, that it should become a gili. It's considered a chiddush, and the Rebbe seems to be saying that that's the koyach of the chiddush teira of a yid. When a yid is mechadish chiddush teira, so first of all, the chiddush teira comes from the anoich. It's not poshet chiddush teira. And second of all, the chiddush teira of yid creates a chiddush in Welt. And the chiddush in Welt is that it's a new shamayim and a new aretz. And again, I don't think pshat shamayim chadosh me'ed chadosh means chiddush hayishones. Has to be chiddush, so it has to be from a dreg of helm sheni b'metzias. Because it's helm sheni b'metzias, then it's gilei helm is not a chiddush. It's only gilei helm. It's not yesh meyayin. Anyway, I'm trying to lend words and thoughts to enrich the ideas. But I want to speak in abstractions because I don't know precisely the kavanah of the Rebbe, so I'm speaking in generalities. I can't be wrong. Let's keep going. So you have here in this Perek Dalet 2 in Yonah that from a Nechi comes Chiddush Teira, and from a Nechi comes that from the Chiddush Teira comes the Chiddush of Shamayim and Eretz. And then he continues with Amoyd in the Kavod. Abi Marsha Kosa B'Medesh is a famous Medesh which the Rebbe would often cite. The Rebbe is citing it here. Shapshas Matan Teir Hayakol Echad Vechad Nisa. When the Eibush gave us the Teira, every single Yid was saying, Imi Hadibur Medaber. The Eibush is talking to me. What was that ayah? Because it says, I am God, your God, Loshen Yochid, singular. Hashem spoke to every Yid b'myuchad. Now you should know there is other medrashim that say that the reason the Eibush spoke with Loshen Yochid is that every Yid ketaine, that Hashem was talking only to Moshe Rabbeinu, not to all of them. Varay is Loshen Yochid. But conversely, this medrash was like punkt faked, that it's written Loshen Yochid, that Hashem is speaking to everyone individually, and that's the one he brings over here. Moving is understood. Shekein b'kol echad v'echad mitzal. Every single yid, ayidei she'esik b'tera, yid who learns Teda, is mekayim alma. By learning Teda, you sustain the Eibishter's world, what we'll call Chiddush HaYeshanos. But ayidei shemachadish b'Teda, mechadusha Teda, beirei shamayim, v'eretz chadashim, then you push it, creating a new shamayim and a new eretz. Says the Rebbe, ukshem shalim without Teda b'klalo in Yehanitzchi. We all know the Teda is which is of a Nitzchi. And the Chiddush Teda of a Yid is an Inyan Nitzchi. And the Chiddushim of the world which come from the Teda of a Yid are also an Inyan Nitzchi. The Rebbe says, Kemuv, when the Mashiach comes to Betad Al Rebbe, the Rebbe brings us Tani Perikaf Hei HaYadua. B'negeya le'yichot shnasai dekiyam ha-mitzvahs. When a Yid does a mitzvah, the Rebbe says, the Lashon Yichot Zeh Lamaylo Nitzchi. The unity of any mitzvah is an Inyan Nitzchi. There's a tape of the Rebbe saying this Tanya. But he's talking about a Yid who's not from. He was doing a single mitzvah. The Rebbe says, "B'degweldige is rakshas of an ebedkeit, for an eternity. A mitzvah is an eternity." Says the Rebbe, if any mitzvah is a yichud nitzchi, if you're familiar with Chafhei, I mean, you could learn Chafhei in Chafhei different ways. But as a lamdan, one of the limudim of Chafhei is that Perek Chafhei talks about Lamaylam and Azman. The Lamaylam is man of Averis, the beginning of the Perek. And the Lamaylam is man of mitzvahs later in the Perek. But there's a clear difference between the Lamaylam is man of Avera and the Lamaylam is man of mitzvah. And here he's speaking to the Lamaylam of man of mitzvah, and he says, if in mitzvahs is a yichud nitzchi, for sure, there's certainly influence. Why? Because it's Lamaylam and Medida v'Agbola, Teda is above limitations, and it's above mitzvahs. Like we said in the beginning of this page, that any time a person is learning Teda, it's an inyan from the Esek b'mitzvah potam and mitzvah. Which is why kol chafetzim lo yishu bo afilu chafte shamayim. That unless it's mitzvah she'efshel lasadeh achedim, you're not mavatal Teda to become a mitzvah, because Teda is higher than mitzvah. So when you're learning Teda, you have within the Teda all of the mitzvahs. And then this other idea that Teda is l'maylam is manu mokem. So if in a mitzvah, which is dafkas manu mokem, there's a yichud nitzchi, so Teda for sure is a yichud nitzchi. Not only is the bond between the Yid who's learning the Teda and the Eibishter who gave him to learn the Teda, a bond which is eternal. In other words, he's creating a connection between the Eibishter, because he's doing Ratzon Ha'elyon and Le'ezes moreover. Sha'ateda atzma shalem, the Teda himself, that he learns is Nitzchias. The Yichud between Yid and the Eibishter is forever, and the Teda, and the Chiddush and Teda is all Chadinas, and he teaches, Hein, Masha Machadish B'Teda, whether he's Machadish and Teda, like the Rebbe said in the previous page, that when you're Machadish and Teda, it comes to Manechi. And the Rebbe said in the previous page, when you're Machadish and Teda, you can make a Shemaim Chadash, and it's Chadasha, all of this is Dvar and Nitzchim. V'hein Kishachei, Zeh Shekvar Laban, and even if only we learn what you learned before. It's also in the Nitzchi. Farval, Shagam, Tzarech Liyez HaLimud. Even when a person is relearning old Teda, he has to learn it for the that every second he's getting a Teda from the Meibishn again. Like the Rebbe said in the last Maimer, the Maimer of Bishar Sheikh Dimu, that Leimer means that any time, any place a Yid is learning Teda, he's ein nachar akeda, he's repeating after the Eibishter who said the Teda at Har Sinai. So anytime any Yid's learning Teda, he's repeating after the Seres HaDibris that was said on Har Sinai, Vav Sivan, Shabbos, Vav Sinai, Vav Sivan, just Beis Alaf and Taf Memches. And just like then, there was an Ema Yiddah, that's what I see now as well. That you're learning it for the 100th time. It's an Inyan Nitzchi. Alachas kama v'kama pa'am meya v'achas. It's for sure in the Inyan Nitzchi, because over here there's a better devote of Avodeh. Ubevadai nikras hal Teda hal Shmei. The Teda is called yours. Now, the word of Avadin Ekras Al Teda Al Shmei, Bepashtas, goes on Chiddushei Teda, not on Stam Teda, right? If a person's learning the Teda, we heard from his Rebbe. It's not the Ekras Al Shmei, it's called Teda Hashem. Teda say it's Chiddushei Teda. Here, the implication is that when a Yid learns Teda, each time he's learning, he's putting a Yichud Nitzchi. So even if it's not a Chiddush, it's Chezer Mashalom Ad Kvar, it's Chezer what heard from somebody else. It's a Yichud Nitzchi. So there's a new Yichud Nitzchi. It's an old stickler Teda. It's a Yichud Nitzchi. And this is Nikras Al Shmei. I don't know if this is the Pshat, but you could catch, right, that there's two inyonim of Nikras Al Shmei. The Poshet the Pshat Nikras Al Shmei is Chiddushei Teda. It's yours. The Tifa the Pshat in Nikras Al Shmei is the Yichud is a new Yichud. Even though it's old Teda, it's a new Yichud. And that's why it's Nikras Al Shmei. And of course, this is the Tzarech here. Hine, gam mashem mekayim alma. Moreover, the fact that through his learning Torah he's making a kiyam in the world. Aide limud Torah. Moreover, if his Torah is an even of chiddush, therefore masha beidei shamayim v'ez chadashim, he's creating a new shamayim v'chadashim als nitzchi. So the yichud between the yid and the eibush is an inyan nitzchi, and it's nekras al shmoi. The kiyum ha'olam is an inyan nitzchi, and the chiddush of shamayim chadashim, that is chadashim, is also an inyan nitzchi. Now, what's the big deal? Who cares? What's the kvetch of nitzchias? I don't know. I don't know what the Rebbe is kvetching nitzchias, but I do think that he's connecting the nitzchias to the yin of anoichi. The idea that's above zman mokum is the yin from anoichi, and because it's coming from anoichi, it's an yin nitzchi. If you have a bunch of miles from anoichi, there's nimshchen dvarim shutim, davke bedibur, chidushei Torah, chidush shamayim va'aretz, and finally, because of the anoichi, any yid who learns Torah any time, it's even yichud nitzchi. And now the Rebbe finishes the Mamish. V'hiratz shebakorev mamish, that very quickly, and of course later the Rebbe will change this nusach to take of b'yad mamish. Yikuya ma'yid to be the realization of the prophecy v'nigel k'vei that the glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be revealed and we'll be able to see. It says the Rebbe sha'az yu kol yonim hanal b'gili. So, as the Rebbe is going to say in a moment, then what we're doing now is going to be revealed. Not that we're doing it then. We're doing it now. And that's what we're going to see it. V'hainu. Shegam achshav yeshnam kvar kol ha'inyanim. Now we have all of these things. V'mamshach alakusin dvarim shutim, mamshach alakusin dibur, chidushei Torah, chidushin velt, and yichud nitzchi. So we have it now as well. And then we're going to see it. Al derech ham bo b'negel ha'maisa mitzvahs. As we say, when you get to mitzvahs, when a yid does a mitzvah, the purpose of a mitzvah is to add additional light in atzilus and not in asiyah. So it's brought down in the name of the Rebbe Marash, and it's interesting that the Rebbe brings the Eitz Chaim and the Tanya. He doesn't bring the Rebbe Marash. I guess in footnote 65 he does bring the Rebbe Marash. Yeah. Now, the godliness which we bring into atzilus is not revealed. It's like a treasure sitting in a treasure box. You actually own the key, and lost the love, you're going to open the box and take out the treasure. So I just want to say that when you bring this mashal of there's two aspects to the mashal, and they're very different. One aspect of the mashal is that you're moisif oides and atzilus that are oides of atzilus. And now the Eidos of Atzilus are only in Atzilus and not in Asiyah, but they're ours because we brought them into Atzilus. But there's a much more important aspect, and I think this is the aspect that the Rebbe talks about in the first Basi Lagani, Tafshin Yud Aleph, that they're really Eidos of Asiyah, not Eidos of Asiyah. And Eidos of Asiyah are much higher than Eidos of Atzilus because it's a Chibur of Havchi, and it's connected to Anoichi in our Maimer. But in the meantime, it's deposited in Atzilus b'shvil Asiyah, and I believe that both of these ideas are included in these words of Eitzer HaMunach B'Kufsa. Again, I think that when the Rebbe said the first Basi Lagani, he brings this idea, it's mentioned in footnote 65, the last Maramokim is Basi Lagani, Tashniad Aleph. He also means not just Eidos in Atzilus, they're in Atzilus, but Eidos that really belong to Asiyah, which until Mashiach comes, they're in Atzilus, and then we're going to get them and bring them down here, and they're ours. The same is true when it comes to learning Torah, not just in mitzvahs but in Torah. Not only have the key, and the Torah is called yours. And again, what's the pshat Torah? But pashtus it means chedusha Torah, and perhaps it also means, even if it's not chedusha Torah, since each time you'll learn, you're creating a new yichud nitzchi, so it's also nikas al shmei. Because any time a yid learns Torah, is actualizing the potentials and the strength. Shanit no lebamata Torah, which we, each of us individuals, with the matan Torah, we were standing there. That at that point, the Eibush introduced the idea of Vayedaber Elokim is called Varam. And of course, he has the word leimed, that any time a yid learns Torah, he's learning Torah as was given at Har Sinai. So we now are learning the Torah we got at Har Sinai. And also, Loved is going to be his galos of a treasure which has been ours from the time that we learned it. Says the Rebbe, it's already ours. And it's in a kufsa. And we own the key. And it's nekras al shmoi. Ha? Allo gute Zach. And like I'm saying, the Munich Bekufs is not just Eidus of Atzilus, it's Eidus of Asiyah, which are in Atzilus, which is going to be Nezgal, Yosed Love. When Mashiach comes, they're going to be down here. Of course, Mashiach's coming itself as Giluyim. But in addition, we reveal the Giluyim that we achieve through our Teda and Mitzvahs, or through our Mitzvahs and Teda now. And the Rebbe says, a taste of these Giluyim has happened when the Rebbe gave us the Teda. Like it says, Tanya Perek Lamed Vav. Only a taste. Matan Teda was only mainly Yosed Love, because it was temporary. The primary Giloy of all of these Oireis, which are now ours, and Munich Bekufsa, that are going to be revealed down here, Yosed Love, is primarily when Mashiach comes. And the Rebbe says, "Va'oz you taste of Chiddush gam b'matan Teda." And when Mashiach comes, there's a Chiddush even in the event of Matan Teda. Now you read this by Pashtus. The Rebbe is saying that Mashiach comes as a Chiddush in the Matan Teda, not in the Teda. And he brings right away Kidu binyan limud Teda of Adei Mashiach Tzidkenu, be'efen shel Teda Chadosh Miti Teitze. And the Rebbe says, which is why there's Shemaim Chadosh and Nef Chadosh. Now this is very hard to understand, because there's a Yesod Moisid, but the Rabbeim Matan Teda lo ye'eda pam. It's not going to happen again. And when you read these words by Pashtus, the Rebbe is saying not this Chidushim in Teda, there's Chidushim in Matan Teda, lost it love. But I suspect that what I mentioned earlier, what the Rebbe spoke in Tov Shir Al Shvuas, Teda Chadoshim Iti Teita, there's not new Teda, it's new Chidushay Teda, but it's Madreg of Helam Shein B'Mtzias. That's what the Rebbe means here. I don't think the Rebbe means that there's going to be a Chiddush in Matan Teda, like as if there's a second Matan Teda. There's no such thing as a second Matan Teda. And the Asboras are Posheter. If the Eibusha gives the Teda again, then we never got the Teda, because the Teda is in Nekuda Achas, this indivisible point. And this word Chiddush gam b'matan Teda is a word. And it's all going to end with no one's going to have to learn from anybody else. There's not going to be for Rav and Talmud Shekulam Yedu Eis Wogan or Hakadosh Baruch Hu B'Ktana B'Gdel. How could this be? Sheti Ayidei B'Atzmusim Musa Yid Baruch Wogan another Eibishter himself. And of course, when it comes to Eibishter himself, was that Kulam Shavit. Kimol Ha'aras Deyas Adei Shavik Ma'il Yom HaChasim B'Karev Mamish. And of course, in the Mems, the Rebbe introduced take of Mayad Mamish from Heira B'Yameinu Mamish. Lamata Masarat Tvachim Amagol Didan. Kabbalas HaTeira B'Simcha B'Pnimius. I'll see you on Sunday after Matan Teda. And they finish with the Bavei Sipur. That Reb Chatzah Feigen went into the Friedrich Rebbe. I think the Rebbe told the story in the Fabrenk. A few days after Shuas to discuss in Yonam Avaskonis, and the Friedrich Rebbe said to Reb Chatzah, "Was willst du von mir? Ich bin noch nach der Rebbe gegangen vom Berg. I haven't walked down for the mountain yet. What are you bothering me mit Welt?" So they bist helfen, man ruf gehen auf den Berg, und man soll nehmen der Teda, herabbringen das in Welt. Und die Rikri ist, man soll sehen, der Ata v'chatonim mikol ha'amim. Hafta isanu, v'ratzisa bonu, v'rimatonim mikol ha'sheinu, v'kedashtonim mitzusecha, v'keir avtonim al keinu la'veidasecha, l'shimcha, v'chatonim al keinu l'shmadu, v'keir avtonim, I forgot the nusach already, yeah? V'shimcha agol v'kadosh le'nu charosa. A good Yom Tov.